dough, fresh out the oven, ready to run. What's hot this week at Jeff's Bagel Run? Jeff and Aaron bring the fun. It's the weekly run, let's get it. The weekly run from Jeff's Bagel Run.
Welcome to the Weekly Run. I'm Jeff.
I'm Aaron.
And today we're talking about what's hot at Jeff's Bagel Run. We have another news store, Aaron.
This one was so quiet internally. I should highlight. From all accounts, great soft launch today. But where it's an established franchisee, some of these franchisees are getting so good at them. They sort of just launch, and we're like, "Wait, did you guys launch?" Like it's just so smooth.
Yeah,
and
they
this
just
was one of those ones. It just opened.
They just opened a store. So here we go. We got a store.
Great.
This is like, it's sort of the dream. It's what you want, right? Like, you've got an established franchisee with an operations team, a system in place, who's ready to execute on the brand, and it just happens. And so we opened in Port St. Lucie today. Grand opening is Friday. It's exciting.
It's exciting to see the systems working and the process is working and all the stuff that we do and all the hard lessons learned from other openings, and just to see that manifest in our own sort of tools, but then to see a franchisee, like you said, take that and run with it. It's great to see. That group knows what they're doing down there. So they're smooth sailing. The only way I knew that it was happening this week, just because with our spring break and everything, we haven't had some of our coordination meetings internally. So they just asked me for one thing. They're like, "Hey, can you flip this on for us?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. Let me flip it on for you. I guess you're opening in 2 days."
How about you turn on pricing, Aaron? That'd be great.
Exactly. Then they're like, "Do you need anything else? Like, what else? No, we're good. We're good. Just flip that on. We're jamming."
And this has been a highly anticipated location. I think the construction process takes a long time. Some municipalities have permitting that feels like it goes on forever. And this was one of those locations. And so they're finally open. They've had a sign up on the outside of the building on one of the busiest roads in the county. I believe that this store is going to open with a ton of fanfare, lots of customers. They're very, very excited about bagels coming to their community. I've seen this store show up on TikTok, and it's not even open yet because people are like, "When are you opening, Jeff's Bagel Run?" Like I just feel like there's going to be a lot of energy around this one. I'm hyped for it. I mean, I'm hyped for all of them, but
so in your mind, this is more similar to, I guess, when we open stores in like Orlando in the Central Florida market, where you've got that customer base, you've got people that are familiar with the brands. So like, is that what you're starting to feel down in South Florida, where, hey, they know the brand, they've either been to some, up here to Orlando, or they know it from our existing 2 stores, and so when new stores come, it's like, oh yeah, it's more of an expansion, it's closer to me, it's more accessible. Is it that kind of vibe?
I think that's exactly what it is. You have a market that has needed bagels badly for a while. They knew we
Bagel
were coming.
desert, as we like to say.
It's a bagel desert in Port St. Lucie, and we're finally opening, and they know us, right? They visited us when they were in Orlando, or they drove down to the Boca store. It's not too far out of the realm of possibility for them to have made the day trip down, an hour to get bagels. And plenty of people come to Orlando and visit us and have our bagels and then wish that we were in their community. So that's sort of where we're at.
I had a funny experience with that recently when I was in O-Town, and I'm sitting there doing my thing just quietly at the end of the little table, the little bar top that we have there in O-Town. And I always like, if the opportunity presents itself, I always like to try and chat up a customer. So it was busy, and a family of 3 sat down and were having their bagels. They seemed like they were first timers, and they were kind of talking amongst themselves. So I always like to, if I can, without being too bothersome, like, lean in, like, "Hey, what'd you get? What are you interested in? What flavors, whatnot?" And so I started chatting them up, and they were excited, and they were really loving the bagels. Turns out they were up for like a volleyball tournament. They're South Florida folks. I'm like, "You realize we got a store right down there?" They're like, "We didn't. We heard something, but we hadn't checked it out." And they just hadn't, made the trip over. And I'm like, "Hey, you need to go to that." Like, "Oh yeah, we're going straight back now that we get back." So it's funny that people are still discovering us in sort of nonlinear ways like that too, and then they finally get their store and they can go back and have it without having to travel.
We were in the Vegas store this morning, so I'm on the road again in Las Vegas for the multi-unit franchise conference. I'm at our booth. You can kind of see it behind us. It's a
For those on audio only, it looks great.
cool
Looks like a
show.
bagel
I
shop.
mean, it looks like a bagel shop. Yeah. The Vegas store we did a quick visit this morning to meet with a prospective franchisee and just kind of hung out in the store, spent time with the team, had an opportunity to interact with some customers. And I met a guy who was buying bagels from my porch. He now is a regular at the Vegas location. I met two young ladies who had never been to a Just Bagel Run before, but they're like, it just keeps popping up on my TikTok, so I had to go. And we have one here in Vegas. I met a Pilates instructor who is excited because the store had just created a new like relationship with them and like some cross marketing, cross promotional opportunities. And it's just really cool to see franchisees putting in work. It's cool to be in a place that is so far away from where we started physically and I don't know, maybe emotionally too. It's a, you know, and it's being, and one, being successful, but two, being recognized, being something worth noting. It's cool.
Mentioned a second ago, but you're in Vegas for the multi-unit show, and we talked about it a little bit last week. But thinking about sort of how far we've come, now that you're there, you're what, an hour, 2 hours away from doors opening, booth set up. I can see it behind you. How does it feel now to be back again after another year's worth of progress and another year's worth of sort of all the stuff that's happened, that we've done, challenges, wins, like what's it like to be back in an annual sort of way to an event like this?
Third time back,
Which is
the first
crazy.
year.
Let's just pause on that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The
Third
business is
year.
barely 3 years old from a
Yeah.
franchising perspective.
Oh, no. We literally were here, I think, in the infancy of our franchising. And, we had just a table and a backdrop. And now we have a full
So the
blown,
card table and
yeah,
the nice
the whole,
curtain sort of
the whole
scenario.
deal. Yeah. Yeah. Quality tablecloth. But now we've got a full blown, like, built out store in a double wide booth. And it feels like we've got momentum. You know, Last year, I think we were here, we had maybe 11 or 12 stores opened at the time, might have been 13, but certainly not 32 with our 33rd opening the week that we're here. And it feels good. It's also a bit of like a highlight reel because I think, true operators, people with like dough of the business under their fingernails. That's
Yeah.
a
Yeah. A
cheesy
pun
pun,
is
but a little,
appreciated. I
little,
really.
yeah, little pun for you this morning, Aaron. But those folks know the hard work it takes to get to this point, right? The momentum is there, but there's a ton of hard work that took place. And so it's mixed emotions, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all the hard work of the team because it's not just me. It's not just Danielle. It's a ton of people. There's 7 of us out here this week to actually be on the show floor, exhibiting, sampling bagels, talking about our brand. There's an entire store team locally that created all the samples for us, made sure the cream cheese was ready for us, is going to transport it from their store to the convention hall. So it takes a team effort to make this happen. And I'm grateful for all of them and excited for the future because we got a lot of cool stuff happening and people are starting to take notice.
As you talk to people at a show like this, I'm curious, what what is the thing that you find surprises somebody most about Jeff's Bagel Run? So when they come up to the booth, whether they're making a beeline for you because they've heard something, or whether they're just doing the random walk and, oh, I got too close to the booth, now I have to talk to these people. Like, you know how that works. You know how a
Yeah.
trade show works. I always walk. Like, I try to make sure if you measured where I was in the aisle carpet, I would be equidistant from anybody that could talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get too close to any single person and invite that conversation. I'm the exact opposite of
Aaron,
that.
have you
So,
ever have you ever gone
yeah,
deep sea fishing?
no,
Okay, so when you go deep sea fishing, you have these outrigger poles
yeah, I'm familiar with the
that
boats.
have just lines that just run for, hundreds of yards, um, behind the boat and then way out to the sides. And I feel like when you're at one of these shows, you start creeping outside the zone of your booth and you're like an outrigger trying to pull people in. So yeah, I get it. Um, the thing that I think surprises most people is I started this business with zero experience in like culinary.
Yeah.
I have no formal bake training. I'm not a chef. I've never went to culinary school or pastry school. I learned how to make bagels watching YouTube videos and experimenting in my kitchen. And that surprises people because the next question they ask is how many stores are you operating? What are the unit economics? And we tell them and they're like, "Holy cow. That's insane."
Basically, how did you do that without knowing what you what you're doing? Initially,
Yeah.
of
I
course.
I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah, there's like the yes, how did you do that without knowing what you were doing? And I think that's where it's fun because then you start to talk to people, like really
Yeah.
talk to people about the journey. And as they start to peel back those layers and understand what we've been doing, this is a systematic process that we have built to create the tools, resources, technology that we need to grow this brand. Me figuring out how to make bagels,
Yeah.
maybe there's a little bit of luck in that, but I'm also a relentless and obsessive person who isn't going to accept failure by any by in any form. So failure is not an option. And when Danielle said you should make me a bagel, I was like, "Oh, I got this."
There's only one outcome.
There,
Either wasting
in
more
my
dough or nailing the bagel.
in my mind, there was only one result that was ever going to be, and that was creating a bagel that she liked. The fact that we subsequently build an entire business around that is a completely different story to tell, but yeah. Yeah. Wild.
But I think
Wild,
that
wild,
sets
wild.
apart brands that resonate with people as being genuine and sort of, they get connected to them versus brands that maybe just make sense, but maybe feel a little bit more corporate right? Like this wasn't a boardroom concept. Somebody didn't look at the landscape and say, "Oh, the moment is bagels right now. So let's put together a bagel concept and let's test this and let's think through, oh, it should have this kind of feel." Like this didn't come out of a corporate brand strategy. This didn't come out of analyzing the market. This came out of Danielle wanting a bagel and then just sort of it snowballing from there. And then, as you said earlier, the luck is maybe in some of the chance sides of it, but it's not in the hard work that goes into it. And this is, I always love the joke. It's a 5-year, 10-year, whatever, overnight success. And that's kind of
Yes.
what it is. Like, we get to enjoy this part right now as it's catching, but that's built on the backs of years and years of trial and error, figuring things out. And I think that's where people resonate with certain brands. I always hope that ours is seen that way too, where it's like, hey, I can see the work in this. I can see the
Yeah.
learning, the trial and error. I can see the systems that you've built. It's not lightning in a bottle. It might be catching at the right time, but it's not accidental.
Yeah. I think there's oh man, there's so much to unpack there because I think that as we grow, staying cognizant of who we are is so critical to our future success. There's a saying, it's like, what got you here won't get you there.
Mhm.
I believe that to be true in the sense that change is always evolving and you have to be able to make an effort to evolve. But I think our core values, the things that make us who we are and what we believe in and stand for, those ring true all the way to the end. And the companies I believe that are steadfast in that, maintaining their principles, understanding what their mission, vision, values are, and aligning those incentives to all of their customers are the ones that have long-term success. So how do you do that? Like that's the hardest, like that's like the question. How do you do that? And today the prospective franchisee asked me that. She said, how do you keep a founder-led experience? How do you make sure that something that's growing and getting bigger feels small still? And I said, it's a, you know, it, and she said asking she was asking for herself selfishly. They have a franchise group and they have 27 locations and they're growing and getting bigger and they're looking to add a third brand and doing more. And she's got a big team of area managers and GMs. And she's like, how do you keep the culture of like it used to feel so like mom and pop or it used to feel so small. And
Yeah.
I told her, I said, you have to protect that. When you walk into a store, you're going to see the quality of the product. You're going to see the service that the employees are providing, but you should walk in first and say, how's your day? What's going on? How can I make your job easier? What's happening? And then secondarily address product, experience, operational challenges. Because if you don't set the tone with the culture and the team doesn't trust and believe in the thing that you're trying to achieve, then you're not going to be able to maintain that long term.
I fully agree with you. And it's, as you're saying that, what I find comes to mind is that there's a difference between feeling small and cozy and feeling connected in community, right? And I think that's a very important distinction, and I think that's why I've always been a really big fan of our way of saying we talk about building community, we don't talk about staying small. It's a very different frame. It's minor in the real sense of I think the intent, but it's very important because you can't get big and be small. Like that has conflict and then that leads to conflict, right? But you can be big and connected to the community. And I think it's a much more aligned way to approach sort of the same thing, but to
Yeah.
just build cultures around. Because what's really important is, hey, when you have those customers come in, to the point you just made, those customers come in, make them feel seen, make them, focus on the experience. And even for the people listening, like what's interesting about how we sort of put that into our company culture, like in technology, our goal is to reduce the load on the store employee, right? Now we have 1,000 other sort of supportive things that we do with that, but like at the core of it, if we can reduce the load on the employee, that employee can spend that time with either the customer first or the product second. And both of those two things get better. And so that's just how as departments in different parts of this company, we can feed into that overall vision of connecting with customers by just each doing our little part. And then the sum hopefully creates that feeling. And it's not something we dictate from the top down by saying, be nice to every customer or ask them about their dog. You know what I mean? It's not prescriptive. It's we're going to give you space to engage as humans.
That is something you see in the stores. That's something you see in the franchisee selection process. That's something you see in our office when we're bringing teams. Some teams work remote, some teams work in office, and they commingle and they interact, and they all really are driven for that same outcome. So it's it's pretty cool. It's pretty
Speaking
cool.
of speaking of in office, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm already getting requests for the next Taco Tuesday day. Then my team was very
Oh man,
disappointed. I was like, "Hey,
how
listen, Jeff's traveling."
how are we ever gonna get the uh, okay, replicating the initial Taco Tuesday is gonna be hard because that
Happened.
slapped.
It,
Yeah,
it,
that was we're gonna have to do it again. I don't know, maybe we'll have to do Pizza Monday, or we could do I don't know. We'll pick a different something. We'll make it happen.
it,
Dessert was a
it,
success. Dessert, was a success. Taco Tuesday was a success. But it's little
I think a
stuff like
pizza day
that.
works.
I
I
think
think a
pizza day
pizza day works.
I think we should do pizza bagels. I'm just
I
saying.
100%. We just need to line up like 50 toaster ovens
Like, just
for
heat them
to bake
the
them,
little
to bake the
those, like, little
cheese.
convection ovens. Yeah, the mini
Yes, exactly.
countertop convection ovens, or
Exactly.
we could bring we could do an air fryer too. It works in an air fryer.
Mm. Listen, all I know is that when I told everybody, because we were talking about this on Monday on my team meeting, and they're like, "So we doing so, what's going on Tuesday or whatever?" I'm like, "Listen, guys, there's nothing going on. We did it. Jeff's traveling." They're like, "We're starting to realize who the real hero is with Taco Tuesday. I
Let's,
was really riding on your coattails. Listen,
listen, I'm happy to have you as every
just drafting
in
off your
in
success, Jeff."
in the eyes of your team, every superhero has a sidekick, right? So
Yes, that's fine. I can be Robin.
you can be my Robin. Yeah. Um, another thing that I want to talk about today that I found like a lot of pride in was we were nominated again as part of the Fast Casuals Movers and Shakers Top 100. And last year we were nominated, which was a surprise because it was kind of early in our journey, only 10 or 12 stores in at the time of nomination, and we ranked 88th last year. So this year we are in the top 100. I don't know the ranking yet. They announced it at a big gala that they have in May that coincides alongside the National Restaurant Association show. So we'll be in Chicago in the middle of May to see where we fall. It's nice to be nominated. I'm excited to see where we rank and how we slip in there, and it's fun. It's kind of an unbiased look at the business from a growth perspective, unit economics, total revenue, size of the team, the places you're impacting, your community, and they factor a lot of things into it. So see where we land. See
And
where we land.
we went to, I think you guys were at store openings, but another group of us went to a fast casual event. And what struck me about them as well is that they really represent a very wide swath, right? You've got
Yeah.
businesses at the very beginning, you've got businesses in growth stage like us, and then you've also got established multi-hundreds units of chains, thousands, they really sort of look at the entire space. It's not
Yes.
just focusing on one segment or one sort of size or niche. Like it's really everything. So it's a neat cross section of the space altogether.
Yeah. So perspective, last year, the number one top brand in 2025 on the fast casual top 100 movers and shakers was Dave's Hot Chicken. So
Which is definitely moving and shaking.
to be on a list with, Dave's Hot Chicken is honestly, it's a list I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
It's a list I want to be a part of. They're a great brand, and there were lots of other brands on that list, and I think it's just, again, it goes back to, it's nice to be noticed, it's nice to be recognized, and nice to see that the hard work is being seen by others. Ultimately, I think it just adds to the credibility of what we're doing and validation for the team, and it's fun. So I'm excited. Going back and going back to NRA is fun. If you've never done the National Restaurant Association show, it's about 32,000 steps, almost 9 miles of walking. Every
That's
brand
crazy.
every brand under the sun exists there in that show to support the the growth and prolification of the restaurant industry. It's really
And when is
something
that?
to it's in Chicago in May. I mean, they basically take the entire McCormick Center. If you've ever been to the McCormick Center in Chicago,
Yeah.
they take the entire thing, and 32,000 steps last year, one day. It's a good thing
That
you're walking though, because the amount of food you eat is insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the
You want to
show
walk,
that that you wanna
yeah.
walk. Nobody's using those little scooters. Everybody wants to make sure they get their steps in.
Oh, you're walking, man. You're walking. You're getting bags full of swag. You're eating your way through, like, name a cuisine, it's represented, and you can
So
try
so
food there.
basically what you're telling me is if you're familiar with the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, it's basically the trade show version of that with less lines.
It is 100% that. It is Epcot Food and Wine Festival trade show. Such a what a vibe. Ah, man. They sell tickets to it. You can go. Anybody can go. It's a few $100s to gain admission and walk the floor. So it's quite the experience. So I'm excited for that. Be fun.
It's a busy calendar for the summer
Listen, the
with these
calendar doesn't
events.
end, Aaron. Busy is just what we do now. Busy is what we do. We're opening stores. We're going to award shows. We're visiting conventions. We're playing pickleball in April. Can't wait for that.
I am excited about that. That is another marketing opportunity.
We might have to. I think what we're going to need to do for that, as I digress here briefly away from our agenda, this would be a great thing to end on, actually. Let's just wrap this thing up after we talk pickleball. But Restaurant Leadership Conference,
The meaningful stuff.
April. real meaningful. This is deep. We're going real deep. Restaurant Leadership Conference in April, Phoenix, Arizona. Aaron and I are competing in a pickleball tournament. And
Which, for the record, we actually don't know anything about the rules. This could be a completely friendly game of pickleball that we've trumped up into being a tournament, and we don't entirely know.
we'll
I don't even
see.
know if we can play on the same team. We don't have a lot of details about this.
We don't.
We just know what we want, and we're just going for that.
We're
This could literally
manifesting.
be.
We're going to be the doubles team of the conference. We will definitely make a show of it as we arrive and as we play well or not. It doesn't matter really. It's more about
That's
it's
secondary.
secondary. But I do believe we're going to have to enlist the rest of our leadership team in capturing content so that
Yes.
when we get this pod on YouTube, we can do some clip work and
Yeah.
show a little bit of our pickleballing skills because it's going to be a
Listen,
sight to see.
when we get to talk about my inevitably shattered ACL from playing pickleball, and then we can have a little breakout on all of my medical bills from said shattering of ACL, then yeah, we'll tear it right off. I'll be full into third surgeries by then, I'm sure.
What I know about you, Aaron, is that if you rupture something, tear an ACL, break something, you're just going to tape it up and keep going.
Oh, I mean, yes.
I've learned that about you,
If
and
the game's not done, it's not done.
you're just going to tape it up and put me in coach. You know what I mean? It's your doctor's
I-
going to be like, you literally are hanging by a thread again.
Again. See, this
Again.
is why I'm hoping I really want to make sure that if I do get injured, that I can just funnel that into any of my known injuries so I can reuse some of my medical equipment just because they're a pain to have to go buy new things. So as long as
I
we can
know.
injure previously injured things, although might be hard to break that titanium plate in my ankle. So that might be the only part that's solid left.
Pickleball injuries are different though, Aaron. People fall in this sport.
It's
And
like broken hips.
I'm in my late 40s now. I'm comfortable enough to say that.
Yeah.
And
I get that. I'm
I
there.
I'm worried that I don't heal as the same way I used to. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to play hard, but I'm not, my goal is not to break anything.
But when my ankle was being repaired from my previous injury, which was soccer, but when that was being
A
repaired,
pickup,
my
let me clarify for the
pickup.
listeners, a pickup soccer game. This is not this was like at a corporate
It was a-
retreat, pickup game
yes,
in like the woods.
co-ed with families. So they were like
You're
kids
playing with
running around.
kids. Basically, you're playing with kids. Yeah. All right. So
Yes. And they destroyed me. So as my orthopedist is like diagnosing this and explains what he sees, and we're chatting, and he goes, "Listen, there's two things I will never do as an orthopedist." This is what he sees. There's two things I'll never do. I'll never climb a ladder, and I will never play pickleball. That was his two non-negotiables from all the things he's repaired over the years. And I'm like, great, thanks.
well, I was on a ladder last week, and I'm playing pickleball
Exactly.
next month. So let's go.
Exactly.
Riding on
Hey,
the edge of
listen.
danger.
It'll be glorious any way you cut it.
No doubt. This has been an absolutely fantastic episode of The Weekly Run. I'm glad to have done it with you, Aaron. Bake fresh, bring joy, build community. We'll see you next week.
Yo, fresh out the oven, ready to run. What's hot this week at Just Bagel Run? Jeff and Aaron bring the fun. It's the weekly run, let's get it. The weekly run from Just Bagel Run.